The cafe door chimed softly, but no one turned to look, because all eyes had already passed over the woman sitting alone by the window. She was there, yet somehow invisible. A half-finished cup of coffee cooled beside her, her phone lay face down on the table, and her hands rested quietly on the armrests of her wheelchair. Outside, rain traced slow lines down the glass, and inside, something heavier settled in her chest. This was supposed to be her first date in 3 years. Instead, it felt like proof that the world had quietly decided to move on without her. Before the story goes any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet miracles that happen when strangers choose compassion, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them most. Her name was Amelia, and once, she had been someone people noticed the moment she walked into a room. She used to move fast, laugh loudly, and dream recklessly. That was before the accident, before the night that fractured her spine and rearranged her future into something unrecognizable. Doctors used careful words and sympathetic expressions as they explained what paralysis meant, but none of it truly landed until she woke up alone in her apartment months later, stared at her legs, and realized they would never respond again. The world didn't end that day. It simply grew smaller, quieter, and far more unforgiving. Dating after the accident felt like stepping onto thin ice. Friends encouraged her, told her she deserved love, sent her profiles of men who claimed to be open-minded and kind. Most conversations ended politely. Some ended abruptly. A few never even began once the wheelchair was mentioned. When she finally agreed to meet someone named Daniel at the cafe, she prepared carefully. She chose a soft blue dress, brushed her hair until it shone, practiced calm smiles in the mirror. She told herself that even if it didn't work out, she was brave for trying. Daniel was late. 10 minutes late turned into 20. Amelia checked her phone, refreshed the screen, and found nothing. Around her, couples leaned toward each other, friends laughed over shared desserts, and a group at the next table talked about weekend plans without noticing her at all. The chair across from her remained empty, a silent confirmation of something she already feared. When the message finally arrived, it was short and apologetic in tone but final in meaning. Something came up. He couldn't make it. Maybe another time. She read it once, then again, then set the phone down gently as if it might break. She told herself she wouldn't cry. She had cried enough in the years since the accident, cried in hospital rooms and dark bedrooms and empty showers where no one could hear. But humiliation has a way of finding cracks even in strong people. The barista asked if she wanted a refill, and Amelia nodded automatically, afraid that if she spoke, her voice would betray her. She stared out the window, watching the rain blur the city into streaks of gray, and wondered why hope always seemed to cost her so much. That was when she noticed the little girl. The child couldn't have been more than 5 or 6, with dark curls escaping a pink jacket and shoes that blinked faint lights with every step. She was holding the hand of a man who looked tired in the specific way of someone who carried responsibility like a second skin. His jacket was worn at the elbows, his face lined not with age but with concern, and his eyes kept drifting between the child and the room, as if he was constantly calculating how to keep her safe. They paused near the counter, the girl tugging excitedly at his hand, clearly more interested in the pastries than the rain outside. Amelia didn't know why she kept watching them. Maybe it was the ease between them, the way the man bent slightly to listen when the girl whispered something into his ear, or the way his expression softened instantly. It was a tenderness she rarely saw directed at her anymore. After the accident, people had learned to look past her, or at her chair, but rarely at her as someone whole. The man paid and turned, scanning the cafe for a place to sit. Most tables were full. Amelia felt a strange flicker of panic, though she couldn't explain why. When his gaze landed on the empty chair across from her, he hesitated. People always hesitated around her wheelchair, unsure of invisible rules, afraid of doing something wrong. She was used to it. She braced herself for him to look away. Instead, he approached slowly, respectfully, his daughter bouncing beside him. He gestured to the empty chair as if asking permission. Amelia nodded before she could overthink it. The girl climbed onto the seat, her legs swinging, while the man placed their tray carefully on the table, making sure not to crowd Amelia's space. He offered a small smile that felt genuine, not pitying, not forced. For a moment, none of them spoke. The girl focused intently on a chocolate croissant, flakes scattering like confetti, while Amelia pretended to be fascinated by the pattern on her cup. She was acutely aware of her chair, of how much space she occupied, of the familiar tension that came with being seen up close. But something about their presence felt different. Unhurried, unafraid. The man introduced himself through gentle gestures and attentive posture, and Amelia responded, surprised at how easily words came back to her. She found herself explaining that she had been waiting for someone who couldn't make it. The admission felt heavier than she intended, but the man didn't rush to fix it or gloss over it. He listened, really listened. The girl looked up at Amelia with open curiosity, not the cautious politeness adults often adopted, and smiled as if Amelia were simply another interesting person in the room. Time shifted. The rain softened. Amelia laughed at something the girl did with her blinking shoes, a sound that startled her with its sincerity. She couldn't remember the last time laughter had come so easily. The man spoke about being a single father, about long days and early mornings, about learning to braid hair through trial and error. There was exhaustion in his story, but also pride, and Amelia recognized it. They were both carrying lives that hadn't gone according to plan. As they talked, Amelia felt the tight knot in her chest loosen. She realized she wasn't thinking about Daniel anymore, or the empty chair, or the humiliation of being left behind. She was present, seen, included. The man never once made her feel like her wheelchair was an obstacle to conversation or connection. He adjusted the table slightly so everyone fit comfortably, not with awkward apology but with quiet consideration. When the girl finished her pastry, she leaned closer to Amelia, fascinated by the wheels and the shiny metal frame. Amelia explained, simply and honestly, what it meant, expecting the usual awkward silence. Instead, the child nodded as if this was the most normal thing in the world and went back to her crumbs. The simplicity of that acceptance nearly broke Amelia open. Eventually, the cafe began to empty. The man glanced at his watch, the subtle signal that life would soon pull him back into its responsibilities. Amelia felt a pang of disappointment she hadn't anticipated. She didn't want the moment to end. Not because she expected anything more, but because it had reminded her of something she thought she'd lost forever. The ability to connect without fear. When they stood to leave, the man thanked her for sharing the table, for making his daughter's afternoon brighter. Amelia wanted to tell him that he had done far more for her than he could possibly know. That by simply showing up, by choosing not to look away, he had shifted something deep inside her. But words felt inadequate, so she settled for a smile that carried everything she couldn't say. They left, the girl waving enthusiastically as they went, her shoes flashing like tiny stars against the gray day. Amelia watched them disappear into the rain, expecting the familiar emptiness to rush back in. It didn't. Instead, there was a warmth that lingered, fragile but real. She finished her coffee slowly, savoring the quiet. The date that never happened no longer felt like a failure. It felt like a turning point. For the first time in years, Amelia didn't feel defined by what she had lost. She felt defined by what was still possible. She left the cafe with her head a little higher, the rain no longer an enemy but a backdrop to something new. Days later, she would think of that afternoon often. She would remember the child's unfiltered smile, the man's steady presence, and the way kindness had arrived without warning and without condition. She would carry it into her next attempt at connection, and the one after that, refusing to let fear dictate her worth. If this story has reached you, if it has reminded you of the power of small moments and unexpected compassion, please take a second now to like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement keeps these stories alive.